we're going to start today by talking about functions. Now, we've mentioned functions a few times over the last few weeks, and we've even shown you a little bit of the kind of structure of a function in Python. Today, we're going to look at how these things work in a bit more detail. And you can have a bit of a chance to practice writing your own functions, because they are fundamentally important for virtually all of the code that you will be writing. And that's because usually when we're writing our code, we often want to write things that the computer needs to do kind of more than once. We need it to do that here, but we'll need it again later. Or we may even write something that we want to use in a completely different program that we're writing. And this all talks to the whole concept of reusability. We don't have to write everything from scratch every time. So to do that, we can use these things known as functions, and it's basically just a way of wrapping up a set of instructions, a set of programming code lines into something called a function that we can then call any point. And basically a function may or may not take some inputs. It doesn't have to. Very often they do, but they don't all take inputs. It will do something, and if it takes some inputs, it should do something with those inputs. Otherwise, that's completely pointless. And it may return an output optionally. They don't all return outputs. But by output we mean something that is passed back to the main code by the function. So this can often cause confusion. So we talked last week about the print functions, the first one we looked at. When we write print, we're calling a function called print. Print doesn't have an output, even though it is outputting something on the screen. It's not passing anything back to the main code. And you'll see an example of how that differs from the kind of thing we're talking about in a moment. But all we're really doing in the body of these functions is just providing a set of instructions, standard Python code, much as in anywhere else in our code. It's just we're sort of bundling them up and saying, this set of instructions, I'm calling this. And whenever I say this, I want you to do this set of things. So we define a function in Python by giving the function a name. We provide it with a list of inputs it should expect, if we have any. The things we want it to do, which is the body of the function, and any outputs that it should return. But it's important to remember, when you write a function in Python, when the Python interpreter gets to that point in the code, it will read in that function definition, but it won't do anything with it at this stage. It will just say, okay, I now know that whenever you give this name of this function, whenever you tell me you want this function called, I know what to do, but I'm not going to do anything until you tell me to do something with it. So that's important to remember. So most of the time so far, you've seen that you write an instruction, and the interpreter will go through line by line and carry out those instructions. A function definition, the thing it's carrying out is remembering what to do if that function is called. So it's called a definition because we're defining what the function is, but we're not using it at this stage. So as I say, a function basically is a set of 0 to many inputs passed into something that we want the function to do, with these inputs if we pass them in, and flowing out maybe 0 to many outputs.